Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We continue our look at Section 5 sports with a flashback to our first season on 13 Wham! From February of 2013, here's Bill Pucko and Brian Mazurowski.
Which brings us to the Charlotte boys basketball team, which this season you'd have found anywhere but Charlotte. Here's Brian Mazurowski.
Home field advantage. Not everyone believes in it, but there's no doubting that there's comfort found in familiar surroundings. This is especially true in basketball, which, statistically speaking, has one of the biggest home advantages across all sports. But don't tell that to the Charlotte Lakesiders. We found Charlotte's boys basketball team at an early morning practice downtown in a gym on the 8th floor.
They're renovating the building at Charlotte High School, and we basically are in this satellite. Us and a few other schools around the district are in what they call swing space for a year, and that's why we're here. No one can go in the building until probably September, so we should be back home next year.
Those renovations forced the Lakesiders to hold practices in this small gym above the city, and to play their entire 18-game season on the road.
We have to practice here, and wherever we can play, we can play. We don't really have a home court.
We don't get to shoot on the court that we practice on ever. And I think that, as you play teams, everyone shoots better at home. It's we just don't have that opportunity. And if you look at this gym, it's not like an arena type gym with stands and anything. It's just a gym.
We know coming into the season, we know that we had to play a lot of games on the road, so we just stuck with it and, did what the coach said, and then we just, when we go on the road, we just play like it's our home game.
Charlotte prepared well and became road warriors. A 15-3 record made them the top seed in Class A.
We're kind of used to it, playing in, tough environments on the road and stuff. So we, did what the coach said, and, he said that it's going to be tough. Nothing come easy. So, we, as a young team, we went through a lot of problems, but, at the end, everything went well.
Everything has gone well so far, but Charlotte's season is just getting started.
We've always approached this program as the regular season being the preseason, and we schedule and we play to be ready for this time of year.
It's the most exciting part of the year. This is what we play for and prepare for at the beginning of the season. Being the leader on the team, I tell all the young guys and stuff like that, playing 18 games in the regular season is great, and winning 15 of those is a great accomplishment, but this is where the real season starts.
For most teams, 18 games on the road would be plenty. But the Lakesiders are looking to play a few more.
I didn't expect to get this far, but with the team that we have, I hope we can go farther.
Brian joins us now. Brian, that whole thing about not having home court advantage is no small matter in basketball, is it?
It's significant, especially in basketball. You look at statistics, and across the four major sports, it's always basketball who has the highest home court advantage. For whatever reason that is, And Charlotte was able to overcome that all year. Quite an amazing story.
It's a big deal because the Lakesiders have a chance to become the first city team this year to win a Section 5 championship. They didn't have a team in the finals come the fall season.
The Rochester City School District closed Charlotte High in 2016, but you can find basketball still being played there as the building serves as home for the Leadership Academy for young men. Well, coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the high school. Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, and that means it is time for Matt Trabold. Matt, thanks once again for joining us on board.
Thanks for having me on.
Now let's talk about some interesting situations never before possible for some of these athletes. Football players can now play soccer if they want to. How's that working out for some guys?
Yeah, so the first couple weeks of sports returning to Section 5 through those 2020 Fall 1 sports and those risk categories has been such a positive thing. But, like you mentioned a second ago, there is one in particular we're going to talk about now, that fall sport of football, still not permitted in New York State due to the pandemic. That is now coming around in the spring. But along those lines, I've noticed a few Section 5 football players on soccer rosters currently for their schools. Wayne's Mason Blakenberg started as a sophomore starting quarterback for the Eagles last year, including winning Section 5 Class B Offensive Player of the Week one week. He is now one of their soccer goalies. Spencer Port's Khalees Beeman is now a senior soccer player after being a notable running back as a junior there, including a 79-yard touchdown run in an upset win over Victor. Plus, Honey Falls Lima quarterback / wide receiver Reese Joint is currently on the Cougs soccer team. Best of luck to those guys in the fall right now, and also when spring comes around. It's very interesting, like you said at the start of this. This is not something that we are used to seeing happen. It's just such a new concept, maybe not just for this state, but really just as high school sports kind of as a whole in this country. I think it's super, super interesting, and very curious to see through the season the versatility. Obviously very versatile talents coming from these three players and some other guys in the section making this kind of move. It's going to be very interesting to see.
You know, we have a really high European viewership, so they're probably confused right now when we say football players playing soccer. It's like, wait, football is football, so what's the difference? But, you know, now what about going the other way? How about some of these soccer players, if you're a football coach, hey, I need a kicker. Soccer season's not going on. Is that you see that as a possibility?
Absolutely. It almost makes too much sense, especially with it being such a rare case where that is actually available for these schools. And Reese Joint from HFL that I mentioned a second ago, he's a guy that it really made sense that there's going to be this crossover and possibly crossover again coming the spring, just because this is seasons past. He was kicking extra points. He was doing a lot of kicking there for the Cougs on the football side of things. I hope, and I think it'd be very interesting if it happens with a bunch of different schools, a bunch of different programs here in the spring.
Now, you mentioned Spencer Port already in that first segment. Let's talk about the Rangers and their boys right now.
So simply put, Spencer Port knows soccer. The last few years, the boys program has risen closer to the clout level of success of the girls program for the Rangers. Spencer Port boys soccer lost a good amount of talent from their successful club a year ago with the graduations of star goalie Jaden Schlurf, as well as Max LaRosa, Greg Ranieri, and Franz Walutska. But underclassmen scoring stud on top of that as far as talent going away from that big-time team. A year ago, Jacob Lenhard left for the Orlando City SC MLS Academy, so obviously a huge talent there gone. But even after all that, their talent level is still so high right now. At defense there, sweeper Pat Ubelackers, again, one of the top few defenders in Section 5, a powerful and reliable 6'5", with plenty of touch as well. His goal kicks appear to go 60, 70, 80 yards. He comes up for free kicks. Even though he's that sweeper type, I think from free kicks, I think he's going to have some goals this year. Plus, big in there for the corner kicks. Get a noggin on it. Another captain for the Rangers in Sujin Rajhamahan. It's a little bit more offensively minded now as a listed defender than in years past, where he had to really focus his talents more on the defensive side of things with the personnel that the Rangers had. And I think he's a little bit more offensive minded, offensive skilled maybe, than his defensive older brother, very impressive there. He was there a couple years ago for the Rangers. He ended up at Division I St. Francis, PA, and is now at Damon College. In net, David Schmidt recorded a clean sheet in his varsity debut versus a solid Irondequoit team, plus Vince Ranieri, younger brother of Greg Ranieri that I mentioned a second ago. He'll get a number of goals this year as a senior. So really just talent. A lot of talent leaves, but still a lot of talent there. That's just Spencerport soccer.
And I remember doing a story on them last year, and it's not just the high school soccer, but they've got that youth program so in tune with the program for the Rangers that it's that feeder system, and it's no time soon is it going to slow down, I'm sure. So, hey, Matt, as always, great stuff, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
We're back with more High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later, the girls' sectional finals with Greece Athena battling Irondequoit on the hardwood. We'll have that when the High School Sports Beat returns.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Making the grade this week is Keswick senior Riley Reese. Riley plays soccer and baseball for the Indians and has been on both teams for 4 years. During that time, Riley has been named an All-State player in soccer, LCAA Boys Soccer Player of the Year, won multiple MVP awards, and is the captain of the soccer team. Riley is skilled not only on the field, but also in the classroom, with a 93.3% average. On top of his good grades, he's made high honor roll every quarter since 9th grade and is the National Honor Society's treasurer. Outside of school, Riley works a part-time job on the weekends, volunteers to help with community service, and plays Empire United Soccer out of Rochester. Next fall, Riley plans to study business and finance in college and hopes to continue his athletic career. This week, Riley Reese is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. Now here's Dave with the Section 5 Spotlight.
Thanks, Kyle. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in our Section 5 Spotlight. Emily Phelan from Bishop Kearney is getting her first year at St. Bonaventure off on the right foot, firing 7 innings in the Brown-White World Series, otherwise known as a team exhibition. East Rochester Field Hockey has a new tradition this season. They award the game mask to the player of the game. Seen here, it's junior Jillian Weltman, who scored 2 goals for the Bombers in an opening season 4-1 win over Irondequoit. And speaking of Irondequoit, their strong cross-country program started the season with wins for the boys and girls in a head-to-head matchup with Brockport. Junior Cooper Branch led the boys, while junior Candace Teitler led the girls. Well, coming up next, the Trojans and Eagles battle for the brick when the High School Sports Beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. Again, we flash back to our 13 Wham debut season for the girls basketball sectional finals, featuring Greece Athena and Irondequoit from March of 2013. Here's Bill Pucko.
Which brings us to Roberts Wesleyan College, where they played the 2 largest school girls basketball championship games. Surprisingly, Irondequoit had never played for a Section 5 girls basketball championship. The Eagles entered the tournament this year as the top seed against traditionally tough Greece Athena with a Class AA2 title. Irondequoit enjoyed a serious height advantage. The first quarter closed with 5'10" senior Lauren Oakes putting back a missed shot to produce a 12-all tie. Athena kept hustling out points. Stephanie Drago kept the play alive, and Christina Leonard nailed a three-pointer. The half ended with a basket by Athena's Lauren Kelly to give the Trojans a 2-point intermission lead. How important was it to get the first half lead? You got the last basket that half.
That was really important to us. We wanted to come out strong so we could have more of a leniency in the second half.
You know, I didn't feel like there was a lot of rhythm in that first half. But how did you feel about how the first half went?
It wasn't the best I don't think we could do. I thought we could have done better. The second half we need to pick it up.
It's a 19-17 game. It's going to come down to just a few possessions. It's going to come down to rebounding, come down to all those things. So every possession counts.
We have to get back to basics, okay? We have another half. Like I said, we're only down by 2. We have to get back to Irondequoit basketball. It doesn't matter where it's on the snap. Going to the hoop. Someone got there, every rebound, everything counts.
When we're good, we rebound on the defensive end wrong. That's no good. We got a chance to respect.
What are you waiting for? This is a sectional. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team! 3, 1, 2, 3.
In the third quarter, it was bombs away. There were 7 made three-pointers in the quarter, 5 by Irondequoit, 2 of those each by sophomores Abby White and Savannah Crissetti. And Savannah hit them from everywhere. Savannah, it's that third quarter. You guys are like bombing away, and some of your range is unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I didn't hit anything the first half. I just had to come out with confidence in the second half and just make them. It's fun to always play in a sectional game, but when it comes down to it, the last quarter is always the one that matters. So when they kept hitting threes and threes and threes, and then we hit threes, it was like back and forth. It was interesting. It's hard to come back to after they hit all of those. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially with their height, and then they're throwing threes at you, and you guys are still hanging in there.
I mean, like, we're probably the shortest team in Section 5, and we still work our butts off the whole game. We box out, we try as hard as we could.
Still, with a steal and a lay-in by Taylor Sheehan, the Trojans were still even with the Eagles through 3. For the fourth quarter, Jennifer Reininger gave Irondequoit a 43-40 lead that the Eagles never gave back, secured by Reininger, who hit 9 of 10 free throws down the stretch.
I work every day in practice, and I stay after every day and work on my free throws, and Coach helped me a lot throughout the season, so it means a lot that I can do it when it counts.
Reininger was the class MVP for the first-time champs. You put Irondequoit on the map with this championship, don't you think?
Yeah, we came to the season and no one thought we were going to do anything, and now we showed everyone and we showed ourselves that we're Irondequoit and we can win sectionals.
I think we probably get it if they don't knock down 8 threes. And they did a great job, and they got kids that can do those things, and they hit some big shots, I thought, with our kids near them, and they still knocked them down. So to me, that was kind of the difference.
We'd like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, let us know. Send us an email to rocksportsnow@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Be safe. We'll see you back here next week for more of the High School Sports Beat.